Hi and welcome to Scientology Green Tapes. This time I'm going to cover the topic of Hubbard's death and his state that he was found in when he died. He died in January 1986 when he was basically hiding out in the desert with Pat and Annie Broca. He was in his 70s and there was no full autopsy done, but there was a coroner's report and a death certificate that is now made public. So let me just tell you what state was Hubbard in. Quote, he had abundant facial hair, his scalp hair was long, he had long and unkempt toenails, long and unkempt fingernails. And the most interesting part, he had 10 recent needle marks found on his buttocks. And when they ran a toxicology test on him for a lot of drugs, the only thing they found was, quote, trace of visceral detected in the blood specimen. What is visceral? Visceral is pretty much a hospice-style drug that is used to sedate or pacify panicking, anxious, mentally disturbed patients. Basically, whenever they have a problem with someone in the hospice who's acting wildly and they need to calm him down, Vistaril was the sort of drug they would give to him in the 80s. This is what Hubbard had in his system when he died. And in the investigation, it turned out that Hubbard's personal doctor, Mr. Denk, testified that he had, in fact, administered Vistaril to Hubbard, and that the only other thing he was giving him were B12 vitamins. What is my comment to all of that? Well, Hubbard obviously was not in a good state physically when he died. And I don't just mean that he was old and he was after a stroke, a recent stroke. Again, his toenails were long and unkempt. His fingernails were long and unkempt. Obviously, this is not an image of a man who is able to take care of himself. And the people who were around him were not taking great care of him if he had long and unkempt fingernails. His hair is long, which is not usually the way Hubbard would like his hair to be, seeing his formal photos, etc. He had abundant facial hair. Someone wasn't shaving him. He wasn't shaving himself. And again, on all the propaganda photos, he's always clean shaven. This is not the Hubbard this is not the way Hubbard protected himself before, when he was fully in control of himself, sane and physically fit. And also, someone was administering Vistaril shots to him in through the buttocks. To me, that's an image of a person who really cannot handle himself, is no longer in control of his body and his mind, and other people have to manhandle him, stick the needle into his buttocks and put a sedative to him just to control him. There had been rumors for a long time that Hubbard was suffering from Alzheimer's disease or dementia. I recently had Karen de la Carrière, who was a high-level Scientology auditor, and she met Hubbard personally. She's a person from that generation. She worked with Hubbard. And she stated that she heard from the doctor that Hubbard, in fact, had dementia. What does this mean for Scientology? Well, for most other religions, if your religious leader has dementia, sad thing happens. John Paul II had many health problems before he died, and it wasn't an existential problem for the Catholic Church. Here it's different, because technically what Hubbard was saying about his technology, the OT levels, and the bridge, that through Scientology technology, you can get rid of your somatic diseases, of your purely physical diseases, that most of the problems that you have with your body are mental, are really caused by mental issues that you can resolve through Scientology. And here we have Hubbard, who not only has very serious physical issues, he had a stroke, he wasn't able to control himself late in his life. By all evidence, he had mental problems. He had to be subdued with visceral. So, and this is the person who designed Scientology technology, who was supposed to be the utmost practitioner. I'm sorry. And yet, it didn't even save him from physical and mental problems. So this would be my conclusion. This is not the story that Scientologists are told, and this is not what one would expect of such a advanced practitioner of the technology. And I think this should be something that should be made known to everyone, because it shows the limitations of the technology he created, and that is in contrast to what he promised to everyone else. Thank you. Have a good day. Feel free to leave a comment and subscribe and like the video if you thought it was worthwhile and interesting. Take care.